Hi, my name is Jordan Henson. Welcome to the new Unguided Waterfowl podcast. As you might be able to tell by the name, this podcast is going to be centered around waterfowl and just general outdoor stuff as well. So Nathan will probably go into more depth about that when he takes over, which is going to be now.
Alright, so as you said, my name is Nathan, and I am the second person in Unguided Waterfowl's podcast. To start off with, Unguided Waterfowl, it's not just a group channel name, it's not just our group channel name. It's going to be a brand we're trying to launch that has apparel, mostly centered around waterfowl, so hopefully, in the future we can get stuff that's like really strictly has features that make waterfowl hunting better. We'll get more in depth in that as we progress, but yeah, this podcast is just going to be about all sorts of stuff, waterfowl related, outdoor related, off topic things that we start talking about, yeah, we could probably start into the first topic, which is start with I guess our first hunts we could start out with.
Okay, so my first hunt. Well, okay, I'm gonna go with my first duck hunt, and I'll let him explain his first goose hunt, and I'll go with my first goose hunt. But on my first duck hunt, so my buddy was involved in this group called Unguided Waterfowl. They're a really good group, so I'm actually gonna be doing a lot of videos about that. He's coming up here soon. So what they do is, their big thing is getting youth out hunting. So you have Ducks Unlimited, who's big in conservation. I don't know if they're big into youth hunting, but Unguided Waterfowl, that's their main thing, is getting new hunters into the sport of waterfowl hunting, because it's a dying sport. If you really look at it and look at all the different stuff, waterfowl hunting is a dying sport. So it's good that we're both 15. That's what they're aiming for. Is to get, you can start hunting waterfowl in our state when you're 12. So they're looking to get people like that, and they're also looking to get different adults in. So if you're new to waterfowl hunting, or if you're not even new yet, you never even started, I look at Unguided Waterfowl to join them. That was not okay. So I kind of went off topic in my first hunt. Like you said, we're gonna be going off topic a lot. But so my first hunt, my first duck hunt, was out on the river. I went out with a guy from Delta. That's how I got involved in waterfowl hunting, and I shot my first duck. I did a water swat it, swam in, didn't fly. He told me to take the shot. So my first duck ended up being a green-winged teal, and so he goes out. He tells my dad not to stay in the blind, because he'll go get his boat and go pick it up. Goes out there, picks it up. He brings it back. We're all happy because I got my first ducks, and then we're sitting there for probably 15 to 20 minutes, maybe even a half hour, and I didn't even think about the bird being banded. So then my dad's sitting there. He flips it over. I look down to see what he's doing. As he flips it over, at the same time, he and I both go, holy crap. And then, see if I can find it here in my lanyard. This thing right here was on that duck. This is a green-winged teal band. So my first ever duck that I've ever shot ended up being a banded duck. Which it was really, I knew about, mallards being banded, geese being banded. I've never even heard of a green-winged teal before this happened. Obviously now I have, so it's pretty cool. And then, actually last year, his son shot a banded green-winged teal out of the same exact blind. So I think that's pretty cool, that we both shot banded green wings out of the blind. Mine was in September, and they're really abundant around here. His was in I want to say December or January, so they should all be way gone from here now. So one decided to hang around and decided to have some bling on its leg. So yeah, that's the story about my first duck hunt. Now I'll let Nathan go into his first goose hunt story.
Alright, so for me, well, actually first, let me mention something about Unguided. So he mentioned at the beginning of his story that he has, I think he either say he's making videos or he has a video. We both have our own personal channels. He has a great beginner series, has tons of videos, has tons of information. I don't have any videos yet because I haven't been able to think of anything without stealing one of his ideas. So he pretty much has all of it. I don't have anything, but channels still linked in the description below. Those are our separate channels. And yeah, so if you ever hear him specifically saying, I'm going to be making this video, check his channel, because that's where it is.
Yeah, a lot of my both videos, sorry to interrupt, but a lot of my videos are going to have both of us in them too. We have maybe either 4 videos out of that series that are both of us. So that's going to be involving a lot of both of us.
Alright, so my first goose hunt, my family, they've been in it since 2009. I probably went a few times that I can't remember without being able to hunt, just, to go around, experience it, sit there, watch, learn. But I 12th birthday, got my hunter safety course done, got my license, my first year going out. We didn't really get anything the first few hunts, so those aren't even interesting, not even going to talk about them. But then I think it was the day after Christmas, because I just got my shotgun, and then day after Christmas we went out in the morning, didn't see much action. Then me and my dad just went out alone in the evening, and we were sitting there, almost time to pack up. It wasn't dark yet, but it was getting there, and we see one flock, and they're pretty much already locked in before we even see them. So like, we didn't even call, came right in, and I got my limit. So that's pretty much what locked me into waterfowl hunting. You know, you don't always need to get the big limits though. That's one thing. Don't get discouraged if you don't get the limits. Just go out there, have a blast, and convince them geese that those plastic things are real. And like, that's pretty much fun of waterfowl hunting, is getting out there and just chasing them birds, watching them, scouting them, getting out there and getting them. So like, don't be discouraged without limits on your first hunt. It's not going to happen to everyone. My family has prior experience of, let's see, going on 10 years of experience now. So when I was able to hunt, they had only 7, but still, that's a lot of years. So just go out with someone like Jordan, or if your family's already in it, stay interested. It's fun, it's rewarding, it's good hunting. That's pretty much all I have. His first goose hunt. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so before we get into that, how he said his family's been in it for 10 years now. My dad, well, basically, I've been in it for 3. My dad's been in it for, he was with me there, so 3. My family has no prior waterfowling experience or history at all. His family, you know, his family was big. Like, his uncle was big with Tim Brown's calls, Dakota decoys, what else? Drake.
Higdon, Drake.
Higdon decoys, Drake. His uncle was big with that. So my family has no previous like experience really. So it's fun. Like he said, it's awesome. I mean, you don't have to go kill your limit. Actually, I took my buddy out for the first time last year. You know, I kept on telling him, hey, like, you want to come out? He's like, nah, my buddy's trying to get me into that. I don't need another hobby. You know, another thing to hunt and spend money on. One day I called him. So I called him. You know, it was the day before we got an open spot on our blind out in the river. I called him. I said, hey, we have an open spot. You're coming. He was like, all right. You know, reluctantly coming. And then we go out there, didn't kill a bird. We're sitting there right after just like 2-3 hours of hunting. We weren't even like finished with our hunting. And he goes, what did he say? He said something along the lines of, hey, you guys have an open spot next weekend. I'd love to come back. So I was like, all right, awesome. We didn't even see. No, we saw birds. We didn't even kill a single bird. Didn't get any birds to decoy. And he wanted to go back out again. That just goes to show how much like the sport is so addicting. You know, I mean, there's nothing like calling in your first bird. Even if you don't shoot it, if you do shoot it, it's even more rewarding. If you don't, it's still fine. It's still super fun. You know, to know that you, like the whole group, you know, set out the spread, you know, and stuff. But you personally, you were the one that convinced those geese. Okay, this is real. There's food here. It's safe. You're the one that convinced that to them. And they committed to coming into your spread. So, yeah, like Nathan said, I'll go into my first goose hunt. So this was the year after I shot my first duck. It was again with Delta Waterfowl. They did a hunt in November, so that it was geese, so that my dad could shoot too. You know, all the adults could shoot. So we go out. I didn't really get to set up decoys, which, you know, I was kind of sad about. But at the same time, I was like, all right, you know, I can focus on brushing my blind in. So we're all brushing our blinds in, you know. I got mine done, helped a couple of the other guys out with theirs. There's 7 of us this morning. So we were hunting a super tiny pond in a cow pasture. So the cows were in there the day before, you know. They were still in there when we were there, but we kind of pushed them to the other corner. So, I mean, we're standing in literally, I had boots that, I don't know, maybe mid-calf boots, I'd say, a little bit higher than that. And my boots so it was a cow pasture, right, that they used heavily. So it was a lot of cow crap and pee. We were hunting in that, okay, so my blind was all busted in the bottom. My boots were all disgusting, all caked in cow manure, you could say, I guess. So, yeah, but other than that, you know, it was really fun. I got stuck in cow manure a couple times. That was interesting, because it's not like regular mud. It is in the sense you get stuck, you know, but it's just weird, because it's like, man, this isn't just mud, this is cow manure. But, so back on track. So then, the guy that I was hunting with, he has competition called before. I'm not exactly sure how far he went, but he's really, really, really good at calling. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, if you ever get to go to competition calling or anything, I would highly recommend it. It's so cool to hear what those guys can do. But you know, I mean, coming off that topic, it's way different calling in the field, how you call than competition calling, because competition calling just does not sound realistic most of the time. But anyways, this guy, you know, he was really good at calling. He was really good at both. So just seeing him, and we were hunting pretty close to a reservoir, which you cannot hunt at. So there were a lot of birds there, and the birds were pouring in. So the one field was just cut, so there was a lot of food in there. So it was when they picked corn, you know, so they didn't, so you know, so you missed a lot. There's still a lot of stuff left. So a lot of birds wanted to go there, but this guy was pulling them off, you know, little by little. We were getting flocks in, and then so he let birds land on the water. So it was only my second time, shooting at waterfowl. Let them in the water. He yelled from across the ring. He said, "Jordan, get up and shoot him." He said, "Me and the other kid get up and shoot him." So we get up. The birds start to fly. We shoot them. You know, so we did that a couple other times. You know, but after that, you know, it's kind of like, all right, you know, me and my buddy each confirmed. We each had a confirmed kill that day. So we each got at least one goose for us. And then, you know, so it was just kind of free for all after that. So we're sitting there, you know, and then we're hammering them. He keeps on pulling them off, and then they're lifting off from that field and coming over to us. It was late season. The birds were really hard to work. They didn't want to commit. I mean, we had a lot of flocks like locked up, and then they started circling again and decided that they didn't like it and left. But so eventually that led up. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. That led to a 7-man limit of 3 geese. So we shot 21 birds. That was sweet for my first goose hunt. Like he said, he got a limit on his first goose hunt. I got a limit on mine. That was pretty awesome because, I mean, it was my first time ever hunting them like that, where you're that close to them. I mean, there's nothing like this. We were a little bit away from the pond, maybe 20 yards. Not 20, probably 10 yards. You know, so the birds weren't hitting on us. But last year on a goose hunt I was on with Delta, we were right on the edge of the pond. So I had multiple geese hit the foot of my layout blind when I'm sitting there. That's a rush right there. I mean, when you have a bird that close to you, there's just something about it that's just like, I don't know, it's just super thrilling. So I guess we can move on to one of our next topics now. It's basically the story of my first goose hunt.
Alright, so I've been thinking about stuff while he was telling his story, and I don't know if I'd call it a subtopic. It might be able to segue into a full-on topic, but just something to talk about with calls. You hear all these people, like, you know, all these guys are amazing callers, or you hear about competition calling. You hear people competition calling, like he said in his story. Don't do that in the field. Yeah, it sounds amazing, but don't do that in the field. And just like with calls, you're not going to be good, you're not going to be comp calling good at first, just like they weren't comp calling good at first. But field calling good is not comp calling good. That's what I wanted to get at. If you're not as good as the comp callers, you might be like a pretty decent field caller, because you don't have to go super fast. You don't have to sound like 7,000 geese on one call to kill geese. So that's just the first thing to talk about. Don't get false assumptions that you have to sound like what the comp callers sound like. They have to do that so that the judges think, wow, this guy can call geese really fast and get them in. Also, you don't need a quality call. Me and Jordan, we both have I don't have a few. I have one on the way. I have a new Tim Grounds on the way. So I'll have my fair share of quality calls. He has pretty good bit of quality calls. He's really addicted to buying calls. But like,
Bad.
I started, and I still have it on my lanyard because, like I said, my next Tim Grounds is still on the way. Holy crap, this lanyard looks really tight. Alright, she's not coming off. So, my first call from Walmart, Buck Gardner, Cannon Hammer 2. 16 bucks, ordered, shipped, and then this is what I first called on. Because this call breaks over easy. Like, if you go out and you just buy one of these, it's going to feel like you're blowing out your lungs trying to break it over. Like, I run Tim Grounds because that's what my family ran ever since I really knew about goose hunting. That's what I've seen. I've tried calling on my dad, or like before I knew how to call, tried calling my dad's calls. I was like, man, Tim Grounds suck. I'm not getting Tim Grounds. They're not good calls. They're just too hard to blow. They don't make any good noises. Had the opportunity to try one of these out. Was like, man, this thing breaks over super easy. I might have had this thing, I don't know, a couple months, maybe close to a year. Tried calling on a Tim, sounded amazing. I was like, this is pretty easy. I don't know what I was talking about. So you gotta get a call that's easy to blow as your first call, so that you can get the fundamentals down, how to crack your reed, or not crack it, break it over. And this call can do it. Jordan's first call, he started with zinc.
I did start with a Canada hammer, like he did. See, I made the mistake of, I started with a Canada hammer, right? I couldn't call. Okay, with my Canada hammer, I still couldn't call. So then I went out and bought a Sean Man, because I bought a flute, which was a big mistake for me, because I really wanted to get the short reed calling. And a flute is completely the opposite. It's not the opposite, but it's super different. So got into that. Still couldn't call my Sean Man, so I was like, all right, I can't call on this. If I get a higher quality call, I'll sound better. So I went out and bought this $150 piece of acrylic. Biggest mistake. I got this thing. At first I sounded like this. I was, and I thought that, and like I was like, man, that sounds horrible. But like I thought I sounded somewhat decent. You know, because I was like, oh, you know, it sounds better than my other call. But I mean, that doesn't sound like a goose at all. Like that's like maybe part of a call, if even that. So yeah, like you were saying, I would definitely recommend getting a cheaper call to start. I mean, it's just you can on a more expensive call. I kind of had to, because I was like, alright, I have this call, I need to learn how to use it. Also, see how short this call is here, this zinc here? Do not get a short call, get a longer call. Don't get this call, it's another higher end call. Get Canada hammer. Actually, if you go to my YouTube, Jordan Henson Outdoors, 150 subscribers, we're doing a giveaway on a Canada hammer. So you can get your first call there. You can get your first Canada hammer there, which is a good beginner call, I believe. That's what I learned to call on. That's what my brother's learning to call on. Nathan learned to call on. Yeah, I kind of interrupted you. Sorry for that.
Alright, so he brought up kind of a good point. I'm going to call it a good point. So with long and short calls, so first off, I just completely shut that off. Flute and short reed. Just forget about the long and short calls for now. Flute calls call completely different. Like, I mean, I've never called on one, but what I think I remember is you don't use back pressure. Do you use back pressure at all? Or is that all you use?
You don't have to. I mean, that thing is weird. I can sound like a goose on a flute. I don't know if I can call right on a flute, but I sound pretty freaking good like a goose. I mean, I think they're easy to sound like a goose. Literally, you just put air through, break it, sounds like a honk. When it was these calls, you gotta put air through to break it, just nope. Because you don't, yeah, I mean, like for a flute, you don't have to use any back pressure like this. You know, flute, you know, you're kind of used more like this, open, more like this. But with this call, it's all about, you want to have enough back pressure here to make it sound right. Keep cutting you off, I'm sorry.
It's fine, yeah, it's just fine. But anyway, because I asked for your opinion on how to call the...
That's true.
But anyway, so, just the nature of the calls, you get a longer call, it's going to sound deeper. You get a short call, it's going to sound higher pitched. They have their places that they need to be used. Higher pitched calls cut wind. They're better to sound like a younger goose. Deeper calls, they're a little quieter. You can get down and do some lay down stuff, and like, you know, your murmurs are a little easier. Getting them deep, goosey honks are easier, but they don't cut the wind. So if it's a really windy day and the geese are flying, use a short call. But if you don't have those luxuries, the call you get will work.
Exactly.
The Canada hammer, it's not a short call, but it's not a long call. It's got a little bit of higher pitch sound. I could never get it deep, but that's the other thing to think about is, like, if you're a younger guy, like, way younger, because, like, we're young. Like, so if you're a young guy, and your voice might not be that deep, like, I don't think my voice has changed that much since I started calling.
Mine has a lot.
But, like, I watched the video, and the guy said that if you can't get the voice inflection in your call, the depth of your regular speaking voice helps with getting a deeper sound, because you're just putting in that natural voice inflection that's of your deep voice. The other thing that got hard is, hard for me to learn, is that voice inflection in general. They said don't grunt into the call, And I was like, what other noise can you make that sounds like what they're doing? And it's kind of, I can't even explain it.
It's like a mix between a grunt and a moan, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, like you just kind of have to like vibrate your throat, and yeah, you can get deep, but like yes, when you're first starting out, when people are like, when I was first starting out, my uncle, he's an amazing caller. He calls for our hunts. When I heard him, like when the geese get close, he gets really quiet. I'm like, how do you do that? Because when I'm blowing, when I was first learning how to call, I had to put so much air into my call that it only was loud. But with practice and stuff, you can get deep, and I don't know if I'll be able to get deep right off the bat. It's kind of hard for me to do it, but like, see, like that's deeper than like a honk, like because a honk would be like. So this call, I don't know if I want to say it's easier to get the deeper sounds. The long calls do get deeper than the short calls, but they all need the same thing to get deep. Short calls aren't going to get deep, but they're still going to get, like, they're going to have a change in pitch.
Yeah, I can, like you were saying, I can show, this call gets pretty deep here. I can show you the difference between this call and a deeper call and a really higher pitch call. So this call right here, this is a honk. That's really high pitch, and then here's like about as deep as I can get it. I mean, I can get pretty quiet with, testing right now. It's so much different in the moment when you're actually calling geese in the field. But I mean, I can get this call right here. It can get kind of high pitched. See, compared to this call, it doesn't sound high pitched at all. But it can get really deep and goosey. I guess it's like what it's called. That's just a difference. Quick show the difference between the two.
Something that I thought about seeing his call, like his two calls, we can move into materials. So we're gonna start off at the bottom of the line. And now my lanyard's loose enough that I can get it off. Okay. So this right here, $16. So that's the last time I checked.
I can look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Walmart, $16. Get one of these. They have a Buck Gardner does a pack. You can get a duck call and a goose call at the same.
Aren't available. Awesome.
Same pack.
On their website.
So while he's looking, yeah, like they might be sold out. Apparently, they just sell out because they're a decent starting call. But anyway, off the topic.
Okay, right here at Bass Pro Shops, you can get a Canada hammer. So they range from $10 to $25. So the $9 to $10 one, I'm assuming is gonna be the $10 is the bourbon and clear color. The color he has now is actually more expensive. Which back when I got mine, I paid $10 for when I got that color.
Yeah, when I got this color, I paid $16. Walmart thought they lost it. I ended up with 2. So that was pretty freaking cool. So I now have 2 of these calls that I've outgrown and don't really use. But I'm going to keep them because, you know what?
I'll take them for the giveaway.
I'm going to keep them just because starting call, I also have one that's never been opened. So, hey, Buck Gardner stopped selling these. Collectors are like, man, I just want one of these because they're not sold for whatever reason. I got one completely stocked that I can sell for however much they're selling for. So I'm just going to keep that one like that. Thank you, fella.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, polycarb, I don't really know their process. Usually you can see this. Yeah, I can feel the seam. So they're 2-part mold. They just melt the plastic, pour it in, and that's how you get a polycarb call. Polycarb calls usually have, this doesn't matter at all, but they usually have a decal on that'll rub off. So there's one reason you can tell if it's a polycarb. We have experience with calls rubbing things off. We've seen it multiple times.
Yeah.
Polycarb, Tim Grounds do it. This one did it a little. You can still see it, but at the bottom it's doing it. But yeah, these are your cheap calls because they're not required to be turned. They're not coming from a but they're not coming from a blank of acrylic or a blank of wood. Which, if you're new to calling, blank is just a square piece of wood.
Round piece of acrylic.
Piece of acrylic. Either way, square or round goes in the lathe. It's what turns into the call.
There's poured acrylic as well.
There's poured.
That's how polycarbonate is. See, that's the thing, polycarbonate calls, I mean, theoretically, like, if you're getting a custom-made call, if it's going to be in acrylic or wood, they can only do one call at a time. But polycarb calls, you can get a mold. I'm sure you can get them. I'm sure the big companies have molds with probably hundreds of calls. Because all you do, melt plastic. Like, we have a lead melter, so it's probably they probably have way more like robotic stuff. All you do for mold and stuff, melt it, pull a lever down into the mold, let it cool, take it out, and it's done.
If you come from a fishing background, if you've ever watched soft plastics be done,
Exactly.
same thing.
Way.
Plastic, melted, mold, let it cool, unscrew the mold, take them out, clean them up a little bit because they're going to have some excess material, and you get your call. So they can be mass produced. The plastic used is cheap. I haven't really ever seen a polycarb call break in my experience. They usually they hold up. Their sound is different. One thing that's just kind of my preference. You're not gonna be able to see this on camera, so I'm not gonna bring it up close. But this call kind of has a flat, weird barrel, mouthpiece, whatever you want to call it. I don't like the feel of it. The polycarb Tim Brown Super Mags has a flared out barrel that I also don't like. I don't know. It's just, I don't like the way that they are, just the way they feel. This right here is an acrylic Super Mag by Tim Brown's. So this was turned, I don't know if it was turned by like a milling CNC lathe, or probably not a milling, that's more metal, but like a CNC lathe, which can be computer programmed so that it just runs it. No matter what, hopefully Tim Brown's are still turned, because that's what makes them good. Got distracted here. Anyway, this call, it's turned, and the barrel, the mouthpiece is super round. I just like the feel of it. I don't know, I just feel like I can get a better seal on it with my mouth. The polycarb Super Mags, since they're flared, it feels like I have to work harder to get a seal. I don't know, it's just weird. This one, nice and small, and it's just and now to the material sounding. Polycarb, I don't know if all polycarb calls sound high pitched.
No.
It's more of a feeling when you're calling, is what I think when I think of calls. They have a different sound, but the feel's also big too. Polycarb calls, don't really like the way they call. This acrylic call, I love it. You know, I don't know. It's just because it's high quality, it's also going to work better no matter what. But yeah, that's this one, and it's got more of a, I don't want to, like a harder sound, you know, crisper.
Crisper, that's a good word.
Crisper sound. And then here's the wood. So wood, you know, wood in general, it's a porous material. It's got a finish on it, so it's not like you can feel the grain or anything. But it's a porous material, and it's a bouncy material. Like if sound hits it, it's gonna bounce. And so this call has like a softer kind of sound because the sound's gonna be bouncing a little bit. And no matter what, I think both wood and acrylic are nice materials. That's why they're like, you know, what they are. And that's pretty much the materials, and that's all I have for this. Duck calls, if Jordan wants to do duck calls, he can. I don't have experience on all different kinds of duck call materials, so I couldn't tell you. I've called on them, but not enough to even tell you.
Yeah, I guess I can hop into that. So that RNT that Nathan has there was actually my call I sold to him, so that I can make room on my lanyard to buy this for Super Mag here, which actually Nathan, can I borrow that RNT to call on that, if you don't mind? I can give an example.
No, I actually mind a lot.
Okay, so I have 3 different duck calls here now that I have Nathan's with me. I have a lot of different styles upstairs, but this is a zinc ATM green machine. It's acrylic. I believe it might be poured acrylic. I'm not 100% sure. I got with the Duck Unloaded membership. It's like $30 for a more expensive call, so I'm cool with it. And then this right here, the Duck Commander, which is polycarbonate. So this is just different reed styles here. All 3 of these calls should have different reed style things. So could have went in front of him to ask, but
I don't want to block. You gotta keep filming. I
Alright.
don't wanna block you.
So here we have polycarp call, as I was saying. This call is gonna be a lot higher pitched than that one, so. See, I can kind of get deep on, but this call right here I can get really low on. I mean, I can get kind of loud. See, I wasn't even trying, like, I'll try and get this call loud and higher pitched, but that's about as high as I can do. I'm not putting any voice inflection in there. That's about as high as I can get it. This right here is with voice inflection. It's a much higher pitch call, better for windier days, like he said. This zinc here, I would recommend a call like this for beginner call. It takes like no air. Like he was gonna buy it, then he tried mine. He said, "Holy crap,
Yeah.
that takes way too much."
Like
Not way too much.
yeah,
way too
it
less
took too little air. Like I'm used to calling. I started on goose calls, never really duck hunted. Big goose hunting family, so started on goose calls. So I'm used to putting tons of pressure into my calls, not tons, like,
Yeah.
but you know, goose amount of pressure into my calls. And then the duck calls I've experienced, they've all been decently, like you need decent pressure. Wanted to buy that call because I was like, why not? Might be a good duck call for me to start really duck calling on. Tried his out, pretty much stuck the reed right away. Just like,
See, if he learned to deck his pressure off, he'd be really good on it. I mean, he's like, literally, like, this is just me. I can blow through from back here and break the reed over. That's pretty good. I mean, this call, I can probably. I have to get a good seal on this one. To get it to, I don't know if I'd call it breakover, but vibrate. So, I guess that's pretty much it for calling. If you want to look on my channel, like we said, beginner series, we have more how to goose call, like how to do different calls we were talking about, like what we were talking about, the honk, the cluck, moon, murmur, duck calling. I have feed, chuckle, quack, hail call / comeback call. So yeah, we'll go. That's about good for that, I'd say, for calling for this podcast. See what else we want to go over. We have.
I say this podcast is probably getting pretty long, so let's go over a nice short one that will probably end up not being short anyway.
Which one are you pointing at? Let me see.
I don't know.
I can tell it's gonna be short.
Should we go with this one? Yes. This one. You could really get.
I can get really in depth into that one. We should go with.
We were extremely prepared. We promise.
I mean, see, that thing is we were talking about this. We literally filmed our podcast. We talked our podcast completely out when we weren't filming. It's like, we were writing down ideas, and we were writing down like sub ideas to those. It's like basically what we've just been saying.
Them.
Exactly. So
then.
So about 3/4 of the way through that, we were like, man, we just completely did our podcast, not filming.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened. So yeah, this podcast it's going to be obviously a longer one because it's our inaugural podcast.
Yeah, we're still working out kinks.
Yeah.
Length, this bright screen. There are words on there. I don't know if the camera ever focused from when we watched it, or if it ever just for 1 second even was able to put that into frame. But
I'll show you what that is here quick.
There are words on that.
That is this. What's in frame here? Can't even see. All right, so that is this right here. If you can't even see that, that is our logo. That's gonna be on our. That's gonna be our company logo, and our channel logo, obviously. So that's what's gonna be on our first set of apparel. Our first couple sets of apparel, probably. Yeah, our Instagram for our channel is Unguided Waterfowl. That's sick. Let's just wait for that. Alright, back to talking now. So, that's going to be our Instagram. If you DM us on any of our Instagrams, mine's Henson_outdoors.
Mine's NT_outdoors_2019.
If you DM us on any of those, I have, I think, 107 subscribers. Don't ask how I know that to the exact number. But,
it's because it's his channel.
And it's because I look a lot and I'm small, so it's a small number to remember.
Pretty simple explanation. It's his channel. He cares about it. So, yeah, watch it because he cares about it.
Exactly. I care about it. You should care about it. He cares about it.
He makes quality videos. They go decently in depth. They don't go super in depth because they're beginner. He's working his intermediate and advanced videos have not been doing as well. So he needs to cover all the bases of beginner, and then maybe his intermediate will start picking up. But if any of you guys are intermediate, watch his intermediate ones. Get those views up.
Beginner ones, I mean.
Huh? Or beginner ones.
Testing,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
give it a view, give it a like.
Video ideas. I need video ideas. I have a list. Some of them are kind of hard to film. You guys need to give me ideas. That's how I'm going to keep getting more ideas, because I can't think of every single thing there is. I mean, I'm sure I could if I sat down, took 24 hours out of my day. So one whole day. Sit down and write down all that. But so yeah, so we have the thing is now that I'm like not really a beginner, see, like the videos that I think are like, so my most recently highest viewed video has about 300 something views right now, which it was one of the videos that I was like, okay, no one's gonna watch this, but we have nothing, we don't really have any other videos to film right now. Let's film it. It'll be a funny video kind of.
It would be a video that would be, if you are a beginner, it would be informative. I hope we're talking about the same video. I'm pretty sure we are.
Talking about that one?
Yeah, okay, we're talking about the same video. Okay, that's good. So, it was a simple video. Like, we were planning it out, and we're like, the whole time we're planning it out and we're talking, I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, this sounds like the shortest video ever. Like, why
it was 4 minutes long.
Why even do this video? And it actually turned out to grow really fast.
Yeah, so like it grew really fast. So within the first 12 or 24 hours, we hit 200 views in that video, which I think I have 4 videos other than that have 200 views, and that one hit it within like 24 hours. So it's now at like 317 views, which the video is how to flag for geese. That's the thing. The stuff that I think is like, okay, it's kind of obvious. You just wave it up and down a little bit. But then, like, after posting that, I realized that, okay, the videos that I think, are really stupid, I didn't know how to flag for geese when I first got into waterfowl hunting. I had to watch videos of people hunting and flagging for geese. It's just the simple things that I don't think, would be helpful, that end up being really helpful, and that a lot of guys looked at.
Because it's not really just, like, yes, that's the motion you do, but if you do that when they're cupped up, they're gone. Like,
you gotta be strategic about it.
Yeah,
when they're within 50, 60 yards, if you touch that flag, you're not killing those birds.
Yeah, so like,
I hate to say it, but
like, so yes, it's a simple action, but if you go out there with that simple action and you just like do it, you'll probably flare geese. You'll probably, if you're smart, you'll learn, and you'll be like, okay, maybe I'll back off flagging, maybe I'll only flag when they're way out. You just mix up them things, or you watch Jordan's video on Jordan Henson Outdoors. He's at 107 subscribers and he needs more, so subscribe.
No, I'm not even at 107 subscribers. That's followers on Instagram. We're at let's find it, probably 67. Let's hit this. We are at 66 subscribers right now. We have not grown in a while.
Get him up to 150.
Also, subscribe to this channel.
Oh yeah, this is a good one to subscribe to. If you get discouraged by this long podcast, instead of leaving our channel to rot and die, how about you comment and just say, too long, don't be mean about it, because that would hurt.
If you can't be mean, if you want to be mean about it, just give us whatever you got. If you want to say, hey, worst podcast I've ever seen, you guys suck, don't make another one, we'll make another one, we'll put you in the video, we'll call you out about it, saying, I want to know what other podcasts you've watched. You probably only watch podcasts from professionals who have $3,000 cameras and $150 microphones that they use. So yeah, it does suck compared to them. I mean, I'm using a $50, $60 camera right now.
Also, watch the video, give it a like, share it. I've said this 1,000 times, but I'm getting to a point, so just listen. Make it really popular, and comment if it's too long. We'll shorten them. We'll try to. We don't want to really plan the podcast out too much, or like you said earlier, we'll just talk through it instead of filming us talking about it. But if you want to, give it a like, subscribe, share it so it gets so many, like not so many, but a ton. Like, said the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Get a decent amount of views, so that we or like let's make more podcasts, make them more quality. Because we have the technology to get nicer microphones for the podcast, ones that actually work and do their job instead of just using the camera microphone. But we need to get some decent views so that we actually want to put the work in to get those things set up. This one was just a trial. We don't even have any subscribers on YouTube because it's our first video, so we're gonna have to promote it. And yeah, I don't know if we should really get into another topic. We're probably getting pretty long. Most of you probably aren't even listening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're here this long in the podcast, thank you. If you skipped along this far in the podcast, thank you.
Yeah, it's like,
I love you.
As long as you're here, as long as you're here. I keep hitting this table. I'm gonna have to learn to not do that because when I hit this table, the whole thing vibrates and the camera's on the table.
Nathan, now our camera quality is gonna be horrible. We're probably gonna be completely out of focus. That's his fault,
That's
not mine.
That's my fault, but comment it. Comment.
Call him out about it. Roast him about it. Flame him.
Yes, I did it earlier in the video. You probably saw when he was talking about maybe his first duck hunt. I think, yeah, this was at the beginning of the podcast when I was still learning about where I'm sitting. You know, this chair, my knees hit this table, and I moved. I hit the table, and I made a face. So if you caught that, that was why. Because I hit the table with my knee,
I
and
need
I
to stop
shook the
playing with
camera.
this pen. You know, that's just like... I need to stop playing with that thing. The entire time I've been focused on the pen and not this video, basically. That's just how I am, though, so... There's probably going to be a lot of throwing things in this podcast. I threw my computer case, just threw the pen now. Give me your lanyard. No, I would not throw my calls. That's really...
That would hurt their feelings.
That would hurt their feelings. That would hurt my feelings because I'd be a lot of money down the drain with nothing to show for it.
Yeah,
They'd probably break.
The second podcast, though, might include a little bit of real thing. That thing should be here tomorrow. And so, the second or third podcast, and I don't know which one it'll be, but I'll probably have the real thing. It's gonna be wood. First wood call. Finally upgrading, because I have two like cheap calls on my lanyard. I have a 4-drop lanyard, so I'm halfway to quality calls all the way around my lanyard. So about tomorrow I'll be dumping the Canada hammer, putting that one in my blind bag. Then I just have one more. So if you have suggestions for duck calls, put in the comments below.
Talk to me about duck calls.
If you have suggestions for duck calls, comments. Wood preferably. I already have my eyes on some, but I want wood. I want 2 wood and 2
Bird's eye maple
acrylic.
preferably. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. He's probably gonna end up getting some other wood, but no, he needs a bird. Okay, see, he has 2 acrylic calls, right? It would look way better if he had 2 bird's eye maple calls on his lanyard instead of like a dark wood and a light wood. That just looks stupid, in my opinion. No.
The thing is, I have a white call and a blue call. So I'm already dark and light contrast, double the dark and light contrast.
No, the one's white and black, and the one's blue. They're both darkish.
White's
together
dark.
somewhat.
White's dark.
Black is very dark color, and that's a alright, you know what? Enough arguing. We need to end this podcast. I guess Nathan said most of the closing stuff. So I'm just gonna go. We'll do what you said, and then I'll close it out completely.
Click every single link in the description. I don't know what's gonna be there. I don't know if he's gonna put in some of the gear channels or some of the gear companies he uses, like in his regular channel. I don't know if he's gonna do that, but you know, my channel, my Instagram, his channel, his Instagram, they're all gonna be there. Click on every single link, hit the follow or the subscribe button, click on the equipment or the gear companies, and buy something from every gear company. And
also, if you can, tell the companies that Jordan Henson Outdoors sent you.
I was gonna say that. But I don't know if there's any way they really do that.
They probably don't care, but write in the notes.
But try.
Talk to Jordan Henson Outdoors because, okay, now it's going to lead me into another topic, so I can't end the podcast yet, but I told Nathan I was going to go over this.
You hit the table, by the way.
I don't care. Alright, process.
Camera shook.
Please, just think about process here. Okay, we're going to talk about this for a second. Our generation. What's our generation? Generation
X,
what?
I think.
Generation X, Generation Z, something like that. Generation letter something. Alright, so generation 1 of the letters in the alphabet. Nathan's going to look it up right now or interrupt me, but process. Even some older guys, you know, in their 20s. What people need to understand is process are not for, I'm guilty of this, I know Nathan's guilty of this, we did this at the same time. Process are not for us to go out to a company that I've never bought anything from. Let's just see here. Let me go through my Instagram DMs and see how many companies I didn't buy anything from that I tried to get on their pro staff. I guarantee it's at least 3. After about 3, I realized that that's stupid. I was trying to get not even discount stuff. You know, I was looking for, this was like a year ago. I was like, oh, you know, hey, you send me this, I can do a review on my YouTube channel with 20 subscribers. That's stupid. What you need to do is, if you really want to show your support for a company, not just, not just get free stuff.
Okay, found it.
Alright, go ahead.
It's Gen Z.
I was right, you were wrong.
Yes, I was wrong. Gen X is actually 2 generations behind us, which is, X, Y, Z. Actually, Gen Y might be millennials, so...
Alright,
back to that.
Alright, so like I was saying with Pro Staff, don't try and get on a Pro Staff unless you've used their product and promoted their product for, I'd say, give it at least a year, probably more than that, but... So that's what I'm doing now. I realize, okay, this is dumb, I need to promote the product, not talk to the company, buy stuff from them, maybe like, hey, I love your product and stuff, but, not try and sell myself as a guy that should get free stuff because I'm 15. I was 14 at the time when I tried this, so I wisened up a little bit from a year ago. But don't do that. What you want to do is, you want to show your support for that company, show you really love them, show you use their gear all the time whenever you hunt, test it, put it through your test, don't just be like, hey, I didn't buy anything from you, or I have something, I bought one thing from you, use it for a day, I like it, kind of be on your Pro Staff.
Yeah,
you gotta hunt over their stuff, beat the crap out of it, so that you can say, alright, this is a good product. It's not, I'm actually saying that because a lot of people are just trying to get free stuff, but I'm also trying to get a point through here. You could be on a Pro Staff, for a company, and you get their thing for a day, don't even get their thing, they send you something, like, yeah, sure, send you something. It could be a piece of crap product. It could be horrible, and then you just...
And they're going to expect that you promote it, and then you're going to have to lie, you're going to have to be like, it's the greatest product ever, as there's a huge rip, your sleeve just fell off because the thing sucks.
Exactly. Alright,
Quality's cheap.
Yep. So enough with that. So we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Like Nathan said, don't forget to subscribe to both of our channels, our Instagrams. Everything will be linked down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed at least 2 minutes of probably this hour-long podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it. Subscribe, hit the bell, go to our Instagrams. I said that twice.
Oh well, go to our Instagrams twice. Look at them twice.
3 times.
You have 2, 3 accounts. Follow on all of them. Like every picture on all of them. And
video suggestions is big.
Yeah, video suggestions is big. Topics for podcasts is big. The more we practice our podcasts, the more we might do them in a more podcasty way. Some podcasts you talk to the camera, but some, it's just a conversation. You listen to the conversation. We'll get better at it. We'll also get better at not hitting the table, or we won't. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Who knows? That's it. Don't even try to have another topic unless it's like one sentence. And that's probably gonna be it for this one. And there will probably be more. We are not.
We're filming another one right after this. I actually not thought about that. Basically,
that's why I said that my real thing might be in the second or third one, because I want to do another one.
So in this next podcast, it's going to be filmed. It's going to be filmed within 5 minutes from now. Sorry, so I'm just going to end this so we can get our other topics. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for the support. Hopefully, just keep an eye out for our big announcements on this channel as well as on my Instagram, his Instagram, YouTube, and stuff. Yep. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Unguided has an Instagram too.
I said that earlier.
Shoot. Episode 2 will be in the same clothes. We told you why. Don't comment it, even though I don't think you would. But
you're probably not even gonna watch both of them. You're not gonna notice. You don't care about us.
Anyway, that's it for this one. Next podcast, probably the same mistakes done because we haven't read your comments. So watch both of them, comment, tell us what we're doing wrong in both, and yeah, end it now. So that we have something to talk about in the
Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.
For sure.